And welcome back, guys. This is Experience Boost gameplay. My name is Archive.
And I'm Rin.
And we're back here with more Cinderella Phenomenon. Last time we left off, we made a big decision choosing who we wanted to pair up with. We've gone with Rod. We thought his storyline would be interesting, and he seemed the nicest out of the other choices we had. We weren't all that keen on Rumple or Karma, so we're going with Rod. We're back in the castle to try and see if we can pair up with him, and it looks like we are a maid, which is kind of how I expected us to get back in anyway.
Right. Gotta be a servant in the castle.
They don't know who we are. How else can we get in there?
I have to clarify. I do like Rumple and Karma as characters.
As characters, they're great.
But I really, really don't know if I can ever do Rumple's storyline because he's so skeevy. He's a creeper. Like, oh.
Maybe he's not as bad as he seems. Maybe it's all for show, a bravado.
All right, we'll do that one last. But I do actually like Karma. He's just a little conceited. So I thought Rod was the best choice. But we'll see. I really want to do either Waltz or Fritz.
Yeah.
I want to get to know them more. I don't know them very well. So anyway, we'll continue. And we'll keep trying. This cannot be happening. Don't dilly-dally. The princess will soon be awake and expecting her new maid. Oh, for the sister. I close my eyes and suppress the urge to groan. How is it that Delora was able to turn me into Emmeline's personal maid? She thought this would be funny, did she? Well, I will make her pay for this. I expect you not to be late again. We have very strict rules on how the palace staff should behave. I'm not exactly sure how Delora managed this. She told me she was going to cast a spell on me, and that it would be over as soon as I opened my eyes. I closed my eyes, and sure enough, when I opened them, I found myself here, in a maid uniform. What did she do? The maid continues to babble at me. How annoying. I pretend to listen to her as she leads me through the palace hallways. Emmeline and Rod's chambers are located here. Oh. We come to a halt when Emmeline suddenly appears from around the corner. Your Highness. The maid ducks into a neat curtsy. Emmeline's eyes meet mine. I tense as I wait for any signs of recognition from her, but she only gives me a curious look as if wondering who I am. She clearly does not recognize me. The maid suddenly reaches back and pulls at my shoulder, forcing me into a bow. You are in front of the Crown Princess of Angiel. Show some respect, girl. My apologies, Your Highness. She is new and clearly needs to be taught some manners. Excuse me? Oh, please. There's no need for that. What is she trying to achieve by pretending to be kind to a palace maid? Oh, that's right. She doesn't believe that she's genuinely nice.
That's true, yeah. She believes she has an angle.
Who is she trying to fool? Your Highness, this is your new personal maid. Emmeline glances at the maid, looking confused. Why do I need a personal maid? It is by the king's orders, Princess. Emmeline turns to look at me again. What is your name? She's talking to you, girl. I scowl at the maid before facing Emmeline. I cannot believe I have fallen so low that I am now being ordered around by a maid. Rin. It's nice to meet you, Rin. I hope we can get along. When I do not respond, Emmeline's face falls. Oh, I was just heading to breakfast with my family. Of course, Rin will escort you to the dining hall. I raise my eyebrows at the maid, irritated.
Look at that evil smile.
Right, look at that. It's creepy.
Of course, not having eyes kind of makes you look creepy in general, so...
There's no need for concern. I can get there on my own. I breathe a sigh of relief. I am not here to babysit her. The maid leans forward and whispers something in my ear. I don't know how it is that you landed this position, but you owe the royal family your diligence and respect. If you continue to show disrespect, I will be having a word with the king. The maid pushes me forward so that I am forced to stand next to Emmeline. Wow, she is really stubborn. Like, really,
yeah.
Nothing she has learned.
Do you not want to break the curse?
Nothing so
Suck
far.
it up.
She'll escort you to the dining hall, Your Highness. Her job requires that she follow you everywhere in case you require assistance with anything. But it is almost time for breakfast, Princess Emmeline. The maid's even ordering Princess around. I wonder if the maid is actually Delora.
That's what I was wondering. But then she wouldn't have any need to like say, I don't know how you got this position. I was expecting her to
Oh,
whisper,
that's true.
I did, I'm doing you a favor here, princess.
Yeah, but she didn't. Emmeline frowns and looks at me. I'm so sorry. What is she apologizing for? Good morning.
Good morning. It seems that you have met your personal maid.
The king's eyes widen as soon as he spots me.
You look familiar.
Does he recognize me? I feel a little tremble in my heart as I consider that.
He recognizes you from the gate when you showed up that day.
He gave her some money.
Are you not the girl who came to the gates before?
Yeah, called it. I deflate with a soundless sigh. He remembers me as the peasant.
This is the first time I am meeting you as Emmeline's personal maid. What is your name?
Rin.
That is a lovely name. We are glad to have you here, Rin. Although I should reconsider since you were outside my gates claiming to be... I don't know if she claimed to be his daughter at that time or not. I don't think she did.
I can't remember. Maybe. The king gives me a warm smile. The softness of his gaze makes me angry. He never treated me so kindly when he remembered me as his own daughter. Emmeline takes her seat while I walk to stand at the walls behind the other maids and butlers. The door opens and Rod walks inside. He greets the king, Ophelia, and then his sister. He's just about to take a seat when his eyes suddenly fall on me. The shock is apparent on his face. Rod, is something wrong?
I see there is a new maid on staff.
His tone is almost accusatory. I bristle at his words, and I'm about to say something when Ophelia speaks. She is Emmeline's new personal maid, Rin. Rod stares at me for a few moments, his expression unreadable. Eventually, he moves to take a seat. I stand silent and watch the royal family eat their breakfast. The small area is filled with happy conversation. The four of them smile at each other when they speak, and it is easy to see how comfortable they all are with one another. When I was still here, our meals were always so quiet. But everyone looks so happy now. I bite my lip to will the heavy feeling away. Rod told me that before, but I did not want to believe him. I turn back to the conversation at hand.
We have something very important to discuss with you, Emmeline.
Oh?
I have brought this up before, but now the matter is more pressing.
Is this about...
Yes, this is about the ball.
Ophelia gives the king a disapproving look. Dear.
I know it seems a strange proposition, but this is a royal tradition. Emmeline is at a suitable marrying age, and this ball may yet help her find a suitor. She's having a hard time finding a suitor?
Right? She's nice, she's pretty.
She's the crown princess, quote unquote.
Yeah. But a husband? Emmeline's cheeks are tinted pink. A royal ball for Emmeline? For her to find a husband? I would never have agreed to such a thing. The king never forced me into one because he knew that.
I will not force you to marry someone you do not love, Emmeline. We agreed on this ball to uphold tradition. All eligible bachelors will be invited in 4 months' time, and you will choose the man you want to court you. Sounds like they're playing the game.
Mm-hmm.
I did find my true love through a ball, after all.
Oh. He glances at Ophelia, who responds with a fond smile. Her expression falls back into something more worried when she looks at her daughter. But what if I can't choose anyone?
We will throw one ball, as per tradition. We will not force you into another ball if you do not find a good suitor. But we must uphold traditions at least once. Perhaps this will push you to think more about the future. I will not put any added pressure on you, Emmeline, but I would be happy to see grandchildren before I have to give up my throne. I am not getting any younger, you know.
Father? I can tell that the king is trying to make light of this situation, but there is an undertone of seriousness.
Is he dying? What's wrong with him?
Emmeline eventually sighs and slowly nods. I understand. My gaze shifts to Rod to search for a reaction, but his expression is impassive. No reaction at all. Did he know this was going to happen? But can I really be the princess the kingdom of Angiel deserves? I feel so unprepared.
You are the crown princess of Angiel. You must be confident.
Emmeline looks down, looking genuinely distressed. I'm finished. May I be excused? Oh, but sweetheart, you've barely touched your food. That sounds like a mom.
Yeah,
That's
you
something
may.
I say. Eat your apples.
This is
And
all
your
you're
broccoli.
getting. No other food later. No snacks.
Emily stands up and ducks into a quick curtsy before rushing from the room. I do not move until I feel Rod's glare on me. I realize that I am meant to follow Emmeline. Excuse me. I curtsy and follow after Emmeline. Whoa, she finally did something right as a maid. I barely make it a few steps from the dining hall before the door flies open. Rod is rushing after me.
What are you doing here?
I want to answer him.
Yeah.
I'm here to break my curse.
You expect me to believe that when you have... I'm not getting his voice right, am I?
I think you sound great.
You expect me to believe that when you had people offering to help you... Oh man, I am butchering his line. Sorry, Rod. Rod, just stay there. Stare at us with those cold eyes.
Really pretty greenish blue.
All
like
right.
the sea.
What was the
We
rabbit's
just have a
name?
mermaid
Was it
curse.
Sephi?
I think so.
Sephi, take it away. You expect me to believe that when you had people offering to help you at Martian?
Rod's expression changes, anger clear in his eyes.
No, I know why you're really here.
What are you talking about?
You thought you might take back what is rightfully yours, didn't you? You have no qualms about hurting my family again.
I stare at him, nonplussed by his accusations. I carefully quell the simmering anger inside of me. I have never used the word nonplussed before. The last thing I want is to be fired before I break my curse. I am not here to hurt anyone, so stop accusing me of such things. We glare at each other in silence. I had always thought that Rod was closed off and quiet, but his emotions are always blazing in his eyes.
You shouldn't be here.
Rod steps back, but his gaze is still fierce. I do not have time for this. I am going to find Emmeline.
Why? So you can insult her?
No, because it is now my job to attend her. Excuse me. The last place I expect to find Emmeline is in the throne room. Much to my surprise, I find her standing alone inside, staring up at the throne. Oh! When she turns to face me, she has a guilty expression on her face. I'm sorry. What is she apologizing for? I was very rude earlier, walking out on everyone at breakfast. Emmeline gazes back at the throne and sighs. I am sure any other girl would be happy to have a ball. I mean, it's like something out of a fairy tale. But She sighs once again and looks down at her clasped hands.
They're not clasped.
No, they're not. It all sounds so perfect in the fairy tales. 3 days is all it takes before everyone's found their true love. But I don't think that's how it works in real life. Do you? I have nothing to say in response when Emmeline turns her beseeching gaze to me. I don't know how I'm supposed to marry someone I barely even know. Is this really what it means to be the crown princess? Isn't this precisely what you wanted? Excuse me? When your mother married the king, you became a princess. You went from rags to riches overnight. I cannot keep the bitterness from my voice when I speak. Your life is playing out like Cinderella's, is it not? All you are missing are the glass slippers, and even then I am sure the king could arrange for a pair. I cannot understand why you are so unhappy. Neither can I. Emmeline turns away from me to face the throne once more, and in the sun that streams through the windows I see something shining on her cheeks. Is she crying? I am so ungrateful. Rin, what would you do? Throw a fit. She'd throw a fit.
Yeah.
What?
I like that. What? Wah!
Okay, I'm getting a little tired again, okay? If you were in my place, if you became Crown Princess overnight, would you go through with the ball? For the sake of Angiel's tradition? For the sake of your role? I would never do anything so worthless. The king never brought up the subject with me. He most likely knew I would have refused. Emmeline suddenly pats her cheeks and turns to me, a wry smile on her face. Okay, didn't she say those parts out loud?
No, it was slightly italics. I think it was in her mind.
Oh, okay. I could do with some fresh air. Shall we go to my friend's shop in town? Oh, right, the shop. We've only just exited the throne room when Emmeline stopped short and I almost bumped into her back. Oh.
Oh, we've encountered this guy
Mithros.
before, but I forgot who he was.
I forgot too.
I don't remember what his voice was like, guys, so something new, I'm sure. Or the same, because they all sound the same, right?
It might sound crazy.
Your Highness, what a pleasant...
That was awesome. I loved it. I'm not laughing at him, I swear. That was awesome. I didn't expect it. Sir Mithros abruptly stops to stare at me. Oh!
He's cursed.
He is cursed. Why is Sir Mithros looking at me so intently? Is something the matter, Sir Mithros?
No, nothing at all, Your Highness. I am just... amused.
Amused? Oh, you haven't met my new maid. This is Rin.
Rin?
There's something in Sir Mithros' gaze that I do not trust.
Well, he is glaring at you. Look at that face.
Right? The silence is stifling, so I curtsy at him. Sir.
Charming.
Sir Mithros turns his attention back to Emmeline.
Where are you off to on this pleasant day? His voice is all over the place.
Oh, just off to visit a friend.
I've lost it completely now. Hold on. Make sure
hard,
you bring
guys.
your guards with you, Princess.
Of course.
Yeah, Mithros is gonna suffer. He's obviously got split personalities or something.
You did kind of go through all your voices.
I know.
It's hard. It's really hard to keep track, to try to do it. It's crazy. I wonder what's taking him so long. Emmeline decided to invite Rod to join us on our visit. One of the guards offered to get Rod for her, but he still has yet to return. Another stands with us by the gates, ready to escort us into town. Why does the king even keep these incompetent fools if they cannot find a single person? Maybe we should go look for Rod. But then, what if he gets here as soon as we go searching for him? I sigh. I will go look for him. You can stay here. But you don't need to run errands for me. She has yet to ask me to do anything. What does she think a maid even does? I look at her solemnly, not answering her. Finally, she relents. Thank you, Ren. I incline my head just slightly before walking off. I feel like a babysitter. I cannot believe I have to search for Rod. This is only slightly better than being dragged around by that broom. I turn around the corner and nearly bump into someone. I take a few steps back just in time. Ooh, is it Fritz? Yeah, I guessed right.
He's basically just my regular voice. So.
Yeah, he is.
Princess?
I look up in shock. Fritz's surprise mirrors my own.
Where have you been? I've been looking for you everywhere.
He pauses to stare at my clothing.
Why are you wearing a maid's uniform?
Fritz, you remember who I am?
I would never forget you, Princess Rin. But it does seem like I am the only one who remembers you. What is going on, Princess?
The only people who remember me are the witches, fairies, and Fritz. Are you? I stop when I hear the sound of approaching footsteps. Fritz turns at the sound and then stoops low into a formal bow when he sees Rod.
Your Highness.
Rod's impassive face twists with annoyance when he sees me. Rod does not even acknowledge Fritz as he walks past him to stop in front of me.
Shouldn't you be attending to my sister? I don't understand. Prince Rod, do you know why the princess is dressed like this?
Rod is clearly just as surprised as I am that Fritz remembers me.
You recognize her? You remember the princess too? But if you knew, why didn't you say anything when she first went missing? And can someone explain to me why she's tending to Princess Emmeline? This is...
Fritz. I cut him off before he can ask any more questions. I feel Rod's gaze on my back as I turn to look at Fritz. No more questions.
But Princess...
Right now, I am a palace maid.
A what?
It is a long story, and I have no time to explain now, so do not ask. Fritz is clearly discontent. He seems to struggle for a few moments before he finally sighs and nods.
Yes, Your Highness.
Though it is nice to hear someone here speak my title. That's right, that's up. Though it is nice to hear someone here speak my title, it will not do if Fritz calls me that on accident. It is just Ren for now.
But...
I turn to face Rod. Emmeline is waiting.
What?
The guard could not even deliver her message?
Where are you going?
Emmeline wants to visit her friend's shop in town, and she wants you to go with us, Rod.
Town?
Ordinarily, I would not mind Fritz joining us, but right now he might just be unnecessary company. He may very well give me away. Rod barely wants to speak with me when it's just the two of us. I doubt Fritz would make him more sociable.
I'm assuming that accompanying you is not an option at this point.
Yes. Fritz looks down for a moment before looking at Rod.
I am sorry to ask this of you, Your Highness, but since she refuses to let me do so, please look after Princess Rin in my place.
Oh. Ridiculous. I do not need to be coddled. Or whatever, you love being coddled. Even if I did, Rod couldn't care less if I am hurt.
I will do my best, Sir Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald.
I cannot tell if he's being genuine or not. Fritz bows to both of us.
Stay safe, Rin. And you, Your Highness.
Rod turns and begins to walk away without another word.
Come on.
Rod is silent as we make our way back to the palace gates. I am still thinking about what he said to Fritz earlier. Why would Rod agree to Fritz's request? Because he just wanted him to leave? I stare at Rod's back as he walks in front of me. Sometimes I cannot figure out what he's thinking. Rod! Rin! Emmeline beams when she catches sight of us. Are you ready? Rod crosses his arms. He does not look very happy with his sister. Even though Rod is younger, I cannot help but think that he often sounds like the older of the two.
I am busy, Emmeline. I can't keep dropping everything whenever you want to leave the palace.
Oh. I'm sorry, but I just really needed some fresh air today.
You can get plenty of fresh air on the palace grounds.
I felt I needed to be off the palace grounds. Emmeline's face drops as she looks down at the ground. Rod lets out an exasperated sigh before stepping inside the carriage.
Come on.
Rod?
Just for an hour, okay?
Oh, look at her happy face. Thank you. I soon come to realize that it is easier to walk around town now that everyone has forgotten who I am. The atmosphere around town feels brighter. All the spiteful stares are gone.
Ah, man. I've been slaughtering the voices left and right today. I don't even know what to do anymore.
Man, just do normal.
Princess Emmeline.
Oh, how are you doing? Is your wife feeling better? Emmeline has responded to most of the people who know her. She seems to know a good majority of the people in town. I hang back as Emmeline speaks with the van. The night escort hovers somewhere nearby, watching for disturbances. We are going to take longer than an hour if she continues like this.
I am not going to rush her.
Don't you need to return to the palace to continue whatever work it is that you were doing? Rod raises an eyebrow at me.
I do have to get back to my studies, but my family always comes first.
See, he's a good guy.
If If this makes Emmeline happy, then I will gladly come with her to town. It's a small thing.
Happy? I look more closely at Emmeline. She is smiling, but then she always smiles. I do not understand.
She's more at ease talking to the townspeople sometimes because they don't judge her.
Why would she have to worry about being judged? It is clear that everyone adores her. Emmeline takes the man's hand in hers as she wishes him well. Rod points out the gesture.
See that? That's goodness. You could learn something from my sister, Rin.
Is goodness pretending to be interested in the lives of strangers? Emmeline eventually says her goodbyes before walking toward a familiar store. This is the toy shop I visited with Emmeline and Rod before. I glance at Rod and notice the expression on his face. He seems conflicted. But why? But before I can ask, Rod marches in front of me and decisively pushes open the door. I thought he was going to push her.
Right?
I don't know why, but... When I enter, Emmeline is already hugging the shop girl. Viorica, that's right. Viorica.
And I think here we're going to have to stop. So thanks for joining us, everybody. I apologize for how horribly I slayed all the voices that I do. They all just blend together at one.
We both
at this
apologize
point.
for our voices.
Getting over a cold. I can't keep Rod deep. I can't keep Mithros. I don't even know what he was trying to do. That poor guy, he's a mystery, which is why his voice is just
Well, he's
crazy.
also cursed, and maybe his curse has something to do with his voice.
Maybe that's what it is. Who even knows? But I'm enjoying the story here. I'm hoping now that we've met Fritz again and that he remembers, although he doesn't seem to act like he didn't go straight, oh, you must be cursed. I'm cursed, so I know.
So I don't think he understands what's happened to him.
Yeah, he must be cursed to not realize it. I'm hoping that now that we've met him again, maybe we can select a different path.
Yeah.
Maybe if we'd chosen Karma, we could have gotten Waltz. I don't know. I don't know if that's how it works or not.
I don't know.
But anyway, appreciate everyone joining us here on Experience Boost Gameplay, and we hope to see you next time. I've been Archive.
You've been Archive?
Yes, I've been Archive.
I've been Archive.
And I will continue to be Archive in the next episode.
I've been Rin. Have a good night.